Wow, beautiful. Wow.
Hey,
What's up, buddy?
doing well.
Dude.
Look at that. Look at that beautiful face.
Oh my God, no, I could say the same thing, buddy. What are we cheering to? So are we just hopping right into it? Do you want me to do an introduction or anything?
No, let's get into it. Let, let,
Oh
let's
well,
get let's
buddy,
get
man.
silly.
Oh my God, fucking. So last time we did this, things were definitely a little bit more amateur, and there wasn't a fucking pandemic, and
Yeah.
so, um, I was curious to see when was the last time that we did this. September 27th, 2018. And
Jesus.
that was like right when this all first started. But dude, I was like, all right, it was probably like what, 2 years ago? No, it was 900 days ago. That's how long ago it was.
That's
So,
wild. We were young pups back then.
dude, I don't feel like a young pup. I just got diagnosed with osteoarthritis in my knee.
Oh, Jesus. Oh man,
Yeah.
you're an old geezer.
Exactly. Let's cheers to that. Where are you drinking?
Uh, I'm messing around with a Coors Light.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
What are you drinking?
I'm a little IPA snob. I'm just kidding. Beer is beer, man.
Oh,
So
you're one of those people.
got a Voodoo Ranger and whatnot,
Oh, that's good shit. That's
dude.
good shit.
It really is. It really like I think we've all been there to where we're like very snobby. Like when it comes to certain things, like at this point, anything that could pretty much numb my reality, I'm fucking hitting whippets in the back of the back of the car.
What are you sniffing axe in the back
Yeah,
in the back?
exactly. Dude, funny story. I don't think I ever told you about this. When I was a kid, um, there in my hometown, like I graduated with 40, 50 odd people, right? And in my hometown, there's nothing to fucking do. And when we first moved there, I met a guy. I'm not gonna name his name. And long story short, we were hanging out. Things were really cool. Next thing you know, him and his cousin want to snort
Fuck you.
Lysol. No, not that, but I mean, pretty much as bad, And it was like they're like, yeah, man, it'll get you high. It's the good stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, just nothing like snorting Lysol. Definitely helped me get through college and whatnot.
Oh
So.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever snorted Lysol? I'm just kidding. No, I'm not gonna ask that.
I'll go try. I'll go try right now.
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask you, man. How was your 2020? Seeing as like March 2020 was, a day ago.
It's
It seems like.
yeah. No, it's been good. I mean, there were a few months, where you were like careful about doing anything, but then it kind of just got to the point where it's like, yeah, if I get it, I get it.
Yeah.
Like me and my friends, we just kind of continued to hang out. So it was good. I know a lot of people took it real seriously and really didn't do anything,
Yeah.
but I kind of kept the wheels rolling.
No, I like that. I've said this a few times on the show, on other people's shows, is that it's almost like people, they're at the beginning, like they're March and April, they were taking it very serious. It was
Yeah.
like, holy shit, like this is like some contagion, 28 days later stuff. And man, if you were talking to me back in December of 2019, I was already like in like the conspiracy, like COVID. Like I was like, guys, this
Oh
is
hell
real.
yeah.
This is real. Like this is gonna be horrible. This is gonna be bad. Like y'all need to start stocking up now. And but man, like seeing people from March and April to July and August, just pretty much like the pandemic fatigue really sat in really fast in my
Yeah.
opinion, and I think people adopted two things to their own identities. One being the mask wearing, and that either on one hand you're killing grandma if you're not wearing a mask, and and then B, you're literally Hitler if you don't wear a mask.
Oh yeah.
And there I was in group A, there for the first like 5 6 months, self-admittedly. And whether that's good or bad, I think it was bad now looking in hindsight because we didn't know what we were dealing with.
Yeah.
And but now it's just like I'm still, of the group that says, hey, like, we should still wear masks and social distance. Like, we're not out of the woods yet. We're vaccinating 3 million people. Is it a week or a day?
Something like that.
But man, I didn't leave my house until probably May or June, to actually like participate in society like I'm some like agoraphobe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I did that for about a month, like where I was like super serious about like I would wipe down like my groceries, but like after like a month, then I was like, I can't do this.
I know it's,
just
it's just
just kill me.
Just kill me now. It is.
Yeah.
It's untenable. It really is. I mean, like, we're always in this constant battle with microbes and microorganisms, and this is like coming from someone who, like, my mom. She got COVID back in August, and she got hospitalized for 44 days.
Oh
And
shit.
and like, there for a second, we're saying our goodbyes to her, and thankfully she pulled out. But I know that 500 odd thousand other of our American people just aren't able to say that. Man, like 2020 was like just a fucking year that we're gonna talk to our grandkids about.
Yeah, it was well, there not much to talk about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, it just feels like. Let me ask you this. From I'm actually a first question. What was the last movie you saw in theaters?
Ooh. I think it was porn. No.
Dude, I just spit. Oh, fucking, oh, oh my god.
I don't.
Oh.
Good.
Oh God, that's gonna get clipped. Uh,
I don't know. I might have been. Yeah, I don't remember. It's been so long. But man, that's what I like. That was one of the biggest things that I missed because I love going to movies.
yeah,
Like I would go watch like 2 3 movies in a row in one day. Like I would just get popcorn, get some beers, Alamo Draft House. Um, yeah, I miss movies. That's something I really miss.
man, it's something I don't know if you saw, but Alamo Drafthouse is filing for bankruptcy, Chapter 11.
Oh, that's shitty.
They're going to be furloughing a couple thousand their employees statewide, and bad news. This is just the bad news podcast at this point. Every
Oh
podcast
yeah.
I've gone on, it's like, damn, man, you're like kind of depressing. and, and, uh,
There's the
and
door.
yeah, exactly. Just end my suffering, and I'll endure it.
Hmm.
Right? But no, the last movie I went and saw in theaters was Joker there in December of 2019.
Oh, that actually might have been it. What'd you think?
Man, I thought that was amazing. I definitely think it was a societal critique and whatnot. And this is to jump in what I noticed. Because we both worked retail together. The retail hell,
Good,
and
the good old days.
yeah, the good old days. And something that I like today reminds me of is that I don't know if it's controversial to say this, but I don't think Christianity and capitalism are compatible. And
Mm.
and I say that because I sent you that video that video earlier because like for two things. One, it's like absolutely horrible.
Yeah, real tasteless.
To the listeners and whatnot. The video I sent him was a mattress firm here in Texas. I think it was in San Antonio that ran a 9/11 cell, and they're essentially co-opting a holiday that never forget. It's a horrible tragedy and attack on American soil and whatnot. And but like something that I wanted to ask you about is like it's us both working in retail hell. I make sure to put that last part because it's literally hell. Um, it's almost like big business has like co-opted holidays you know.
Yeah.
And like I I I I don't know if that's controversial to say or not, whether the two, ideologies are compatible. Because in my mind, the teachings of, Jesus Christ are essentially that, hey, love thy neighbor. When I was hungry, did you feed me? When I was cold, did you clothe me? I don't like. It's funny because I feel like these businesses or marketing teams have co-opted Americans to where they are consumers first, and Christians or Americans second and third.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that's? I feel like that's true. To like just seeing it there, because it's no longer, there on Thanksgiving. Hey, let's go and spend time with our family. Time to give thanks.
Hmm.
It's, hey, let's eat dinner, and then at midnight let's go and shop, and just consume, consume, consume. Same thing with Christmas. It's no longer about family traditions. It's, let's just shop and consume. In your estimation, when do you think this like turn started? And like, do you think currently can we actually even fix this?
Yeah. Ooh, good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a good answer to that. I didn't realize I would have to use my brain this much.
Just, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that video was that video was wild. I want to know I want to know who wrote that.
No, but like literally, who? If anything, I think I actually. Hold on, I'll play it for us really quick. Let's. You should let me know if you can hear this or not. Let's see. Let's go.
When
Wait.
you put your arm out, I thought you were gonna bring in the guy.
Oh yeah, exactly. Just
Here he
have them
is.
right behind us and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
This is Dave.
yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. There we go.
What better way to remember 9/11 than with a
Can
twin
you hear
tower
that?
sale? Right now, you can get any size mattress for a twin price. Full mattress, twin price. Queen mattress, twin price. King mattress, twin
Jesus
price.
Christ.
Store-wide sale all day long. Oh my God! We'll never forget.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know. I don't know who okayed that.
Yeah.
That's not okay. That's literally
Yeah.
not okay. Um, but what the fuck,
Probably
man?
some guy that thinks 9/11 didn't happen. Tower 7, shit like
Oh my God,
that.
man. Have you? I've only ran into flat earthers. And like more recently that the election was stolen. And that COVID, like the three conspiracy theories are that I've ran into in the calendar year is flat earthers, the election was stolen, and COVID-19 is fake.
Yeah.
I have not. I think like the 9/11 truthers. Um, that's so 2005.
Yeah.
I think that conspiracy theory is a little out there and whatnot, But man, like, why do you think people? It almost seems that people have adopted these more. Like it's become more mainstream.
I think it's real tribal. Like people want to be a part of something, like all this Q shit.
Hmm.
It's like if you know someone else who is into a certain conspiracy, it's like there's like a bond, you know,
Like a
like
sense of community.
yeah, a sense of community. I think, but I mean, conspiracies can be fun. Some of them are real interesting.
Yeah.
Like even the 9/11 stuff. It's like, that's real interesting. I'm not in any of that, but when I hear some people talk and I like all these like conspiracy podcasts and whatnot, it can be kind of a fun listen, even though they're all idiots.
Yeah. No. I definitely like it. The thing about conspiracies that I've always said is that the thing about them. There's always a hint of truth.
Yeah.
That it's it'll drag you in, and it's interesting. Like for example, like was LBJ behind the JFK assassination?
Hmm.
Or like you said, Tower 7. I don't know. Like I can't just sit here and say can steel or can jet fuel melt steel beams? I'm not an
Yeah.
engineer, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the thing is, whether it's these conspiracy theories or anytime you get in a conversation with someone about like tax reform and healthcare, it's like if you don't know everything there is to know about, a living wage, tax reform, healthcare, or
Yeah.
the litany of issues that we actually have substantive conversations about, then they'll use that against you. And I think the worst ones, and if there's any listeners that are flat earthers, I'm sorry, but like I do think that
No, no, fuck them. Fuck
yeah.
them.
Fuck them. Yeah, no, like I don't know how to convince someone like, hey, the Earth isn't flat. Like, what is the purpose of
Yeah, it's a weird thing to really like put so much in. In my last job, I knew someone who was a flat earther. He never wanted to talk about it though,
Oh
which
fuck.
was kind of interesting.
Oh god.
Um, but yeah, that's a odd group of people. It's a weird hill to want to die on.
Yeah, exactly. I like if it's man, there's really no conspiracy theory that comes to mind that I could buy into. Like that I will like, give like a litany of of arguments of that I think weigh for it versus against it. The one that's been the most frustrating for me, and I imagine you've ran into this, is that the election was stolen. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and just to jump into that, leading up to the election, like what were your thoughts? Because you and I, we worked together during the first election of Donald Trump and
Hmm.
versus Hillary Clinton. What was like in your purview? What did you think was gonna happen? Did and two, damn, I lost my train of thought, but but what did you think was gonna happen,
I,
leading up to 2020?
honestly, I thought Donnie was gonna win again. I it was such a weird time. I really saw like, well, all this weird shit's happening. That this would be some more weird shit. Another 4 years of it. So honestly, I was kind of surprised that Biden won.
Yeah.
Um,
Why? For me, I know why, but for you, why do you think he? Why do you find it surprising?
just because like everyone's brains have been melting out of their ears, for the past 4 years. So it's like I think, yeah, it's just so much craziness, and just people got real fucking crazy, and was like, oh well, we're gonna continue this. He'll win another, 8 terms and shit like that.
Man, did you ever see I remember him tweeting this of like Trump like 2020, and then it was like a yard sign of 2024, 2028.
Well, Trump is still president. I'm not sure if you know that.
Fuck. Yo, that's the Undone Podcast. Um, man, I so before COVID, I said this on a friend of mine, Brent. Now, he has a podcast called Systemically Distorted Communication, and I
Long
told him
title.
it's a mouthful. I'm going to tell him that if he listens to this, I'm going to shoot him this clip. But I before COVID, I thought he was going to win. For a few reasons. One, in 2016, when you and I were in more proximity, I think people were pissed off. People were pissed off. They saw Hillary Clinton as this establishment candidate that pretty much represented this neoliberal, market driven globalist ideology that was, essentially destroying their lives, and arguably it did, and it has,
Yeah.
And essentially, this anger, was rose as the election of Donald Trump. I think um, in 2016 up until probably I think I think I really started getting into politics once, here in college and whatnot. And then 2016, when you actually talk to people, dude, they wanted change. They voted for
Yeah,
Obama
yeah.
because they wanted change. And instead, what they got, kicked out of their house. Their 401ks pretty much went to shit. They lost their job. College got, more expensive. The cost of living got more expensive. But the rich got richer, and the middle class, wages have stayed stagnant. And Trump, represented this like Molotov cocktail, just saying fuck the system,
Hmm.
and then I thought, like, okay, I see why people voted for him,
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh yeah.
because like this neoliberal, like since Reagan to Obama experiment, like neoliberal market driven ideology just isn't working for a lot of people, and I see why they're voting for Trump. They're pissed off.
I think
But
it's more. I think honestly, I think the big thing is that I think what was kind of brilliant about Trump is that he tapped into a real shitty demographic of people.
yeah,
Like if there's anything that I think we've learned is that there are a lot of shitty people out there, and he tapped into that. And they've always been there, but society has kind of constrained that for the most part. But I mean, he really gave license to people who just want to be assholes, like racists and whatnot. I mean, just an explosion of just really shitty people. Um, and that's why I found most interesting about his presidency is just like, wow, there are a lot of bad people out there.
yeah. I mean, look at Charlottesville, for example,
Yeah.
or Richard Spencer. I think Richard Spencer said it perfectly. Like, even though Trump is saying, we hear what he's saying. That he's speaking in dog whistles, and how when I was with Pub Sports Radio, and I did a segment on Trumpism. It's essentially, it's not that all Trump supporters are racist, but it's
Right.
that all racists are Trump
Our Trump
supporters.
support. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, and like, and I've said this, a few times. Like, I've given Trump credit where it's due. Whether it's denuclearizing North Korea, lowering prescription, drug prices, um, those things. But I mean, literally
Having
separating.
a hot wife as well. That's
Yeah,
important.
yeah, exactly. But something that I noticed, and you probably noticed too, is that the cult of personality that surrounded Donald Trump, and still to this day, that people still claim, hey, won the election. Like, there's no
Hmm.
way 81, 83 million people voted for Joe Biden. And more people voted for Trump than they did last time.
Yeah.
But to answer the question that I think I was asking earlier, is that I didn't think that Joe Biden was going to win in 2019, but once COVID pretty much seeped in, and just his shitty handling of COVID, like, people were like, okay, man, like, this guy's going to win again, but then March, April, May, June, rolled around. Fuck, this guy's not doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we talked about this on one of the episodes, this concerted effort that was against Trump, and like, whether, like, what that does is that just feeds the conspiratorial nature of it. But
Hmm.
honestly, I think Trump lost because of COVID. you know
Oh yeah. That was
like,
the tipping point.
yeah, I mean, you heard the Woodward tapes, right?
Like Bob Woodward.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, once the Woodward tapes dropped, I was like, dude, he's done.
Yeah.
Done. Nobody, like, or not that nobody, a majority of people, even Republicans that responded to that poll of like, hey, what are your thoughts on the Woodward tapes? Like, hey, um, yeah, I would want to know that this is a novel virus that is going to pretty much,
Hmm.
kill my grandparents and my mother and father and whatnot. And that's what's weird, is like, we're going into this like weird territory, to where the cost of living is, continuing to rise, even as jobs that were lost during COVID. There's permanent job loss from COVID. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but if I'm not I might have this number wrong. So if anyone wants to shoot me an email that I got this one wrong, but there was an estimated 4 million people in the United States in poverty before COVID. An additional 8 million people have fallen into poverty as of this is September of 2020 and whatnot. And I can only
Yeah.
imagine what that is now. It's sad, like the richest country in the world, and we still have got people begging, on the street corners, and a homelessness crisis and a foreclosure crisis.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, Austin is just getting worse and worse.
man, you're up in Austin, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
fucking A,
But
man.
it's just like just even in the nice parts, there are homeless people, and it's just wild to see.
I honestly do think that on my way up to see my dad last month or the month before, I was driving on 35, and right there where like William Cannon and Oltorf like backs
Oh
up.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the typical backup point, and I guess you have a decision to make. This sounds horrible what I'm about to say, but on one hand, do you stay on 35 and just sit in traffic for 30 minutes, or do you get off at 35 and you essentially sit at a light, and essentially a homeless man or woman will come up to your windshield and try to wipe your windshield down, and
Yeah.
it's such an ugly feeling because like I for me, I purposely I want to acknowledge them, but if I do, like one, I don't carry cash on me, and then two, like I want to help them in some way, but in the midst of a pandemic, like I'm a agoraphobe to a certain extent, and it's like do I just like dehumanize them entirely and just stare straight forward like I'm more.
Or do you kill them? That's the next question.
Man, do you throw that in your stand up and whatnot? Dude, have you done any stand up?
Dude, I
Maybe?
haven't done it in. I mean, when COVID really started getting serious, like in March, that's kind of when I stopped doing it, and obviously because shit closed down, so I
Yeah.
couldn't. But I haven't gotten back into it yet. It's I don't know. I don't know because it's like we still got the pandemic going on. It's like I don't need to tell dick jokes that bad. Yeah, yeah. And they're small confined rooms, so it's like I'd rather I'll just wait.
Yeah. Man,
I'll
talk
do
about
shit
that.
like this and
No, yeah, no, this is like funny and shit, but like
yeah.
man, I've said this. I think I said this to you last time. I've told this to people before. I don't think I could do stand up. It's like I'm a public speaker, but man, I to literally bet money that I can make someone laugh. I'm a funny looking guy, but I can't say funny things.
Oh,
So,
you're handsome.
oh,
You're
making me blush, buddy. You're making me blush. But man, like, what got you like to nut up and just like get on the stage and just start telling jokes?
it did take a while, but I was just like I would just spend so much of my free time just coming up with jokes and shit like that. And it got to the point where I've really got to do something about this now. I'll suck it up. I'm gonna get on that stage and I'm gonna do it, and I did it. And yeah, it was actually going really well until Kobe Wovey hit, and
Fucking
um,
COVID. Fucking COVID.
yeah, I was really enjoying it. Once you do it once, even if you bomb, it's a real good feeling knowing that you can do it, and then the next times are just it's whatever.
Yeah. No, have you seen people bomb?
Oh yeah, I bombed, dude.
Oh.
I was doing a set, and in the middle of it, I completely forgot it, and I was in the middle of it. I just completely blanked, and I was like, all right, I'm done here. And
Oh
me
my
saying I'm
God.
done was got the biggest laugh.
Really? Oh my god! They're like that guy's funny. Like,
Yeah.
hey, hey, what else you got, man? Um, man, that's got to be extremely stressful because hell, in the middle of podcasting, sometimes I forget fucking what I like. I was doing one a couple weeks ago. Me and this guy were talking. I was like, "What the fuck am I talking about?" Like just absolutely spacing out and
Yeah.
whatnot. And I'm like, and there first, and I somehow tie it up to where
Hmm.
I'm just gonna be able to segue
Yeah.
into something else. But I had a pretty much a guilty pleasure of mine is watching bad comedies and watching people bomb on stage because
Hmm.
it's like, oh, that would be me. That
Yeah.
would be me. Hey, what's the deal with airline food?
Yeah.
You know, oh, fucking, oh my god. Uh, but I think it does take like a certain an event or the gall to be able to
Yeah.
stand up in front of people. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest fear that people have is public speaking or standing in
Mm.
front of people and whatnot, and totally understandable. I mean,
Yeah, and honestly, it wasn't too difficult for me because I've always been a performer. Like I did piano performance for so long. I mean, I'm used to playing or performing in front of large audiences, like hundreds and hundreds of people. Um, and even like younger, I did taekwondo and I was on the demo team. So yeah, I mean, performance has always been in me. So it wasn't a huge ordeal. I mean, obviously, when you get up and you kind of just you bare your heart with what you've written to people is difficult. But yeah, it wasn't too hard.
man, it makes me sad, like seeing how, this was going to be my next question for you, but seeing how things are just changing for the worse.
Mm.
And it's like, this the CARES Act and the three stimulus checks were like these adrenaline shots into our culture and society where people are going out shopping, they're getting vaccinated. But I mean, like we talked about earlier, Alamo Drafthouse closing their doors.
Yeah.
And number of small businesses. I think it's I don't know exactly what demographic it is, but I know um, it's like nearly 40% of small businesses opened in like 2019 are now closed and whatnot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, hell, even my favorite comedy club here, Cap City,
Ah,
they closed
son of a bitch.
last year. But they are opening a new location in the Domain, which is really cool. But yeah, man, I mean, those small businesses, they're really getting fucked.
Now, where do you think this is going?
I think we got 3 years left here. I think that's how it's gonna go. Joe Biden's gonna probably die next week, and Kamala's gonna come in.
Oh my fucking god. Uh, Dude, well, so I think you're onto something there because I really do think that like that was my biggest thing. Like, hey, Joe Biden's talking about his hairy legs and whatnot.
Oh, he's a corpse. I
Yeah,
mean,
78 years old. He'll be
w-
82 if he makes it through all 4 years. And
do you think he's gonna make it? Because I feel like there's no way.
I don't think so. I really don't. I think there's a betting market on like, will Joe
Oh yeah,
Biden?
that's great. What's the over under on that?
Man, we can find out. Well, let's do that after this. We'll start, doing
Yeah, we'll
unbelievable
get on
betting.
GoDaddy.
And I don't think that like I don't think it is out of or it is wrong for me to say that hey, like he's literally over the life expectancy age of an American male in the United States,
Oh
right?
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not gonna make it that long. There's no way.
I, hell, I mean, arguably not because the life expectancy for us has literally gone down. The last time it did that was World War II, and then the Spanish flu pandemic, 1917, 18.
Yeah.
And it's like the cards are stacked against us, whether it's, student loan debt, the cost of living rising, but, wages staying stagnant. And, you've got gerontocracy. I think the average age of all congressmen and women in power are, well into their 60s and whatnot. And, I don't know if you saw when Congress brought Mark Zuckerberg up to
Oh, that alien.
oh my god! And if the listeners don't know this, our data got leaked. I think it was like 500 and something million Americans or million Facebook users. Data got leaked yesterday. It's on sale on the dark web and whatnot. So that's hey, the bad news podcast.
Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna cry after this.
and, but no, I really don't think, like, statistically speaking, Joe Biden is, his life expectancy, he's at the end of his life, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be Kamala and Nancy Pelosi. I see that.
And that, with the weird thing is that feeds into people's conspiracy theories. That feeds into that. Oh, is he really like running the show? He's a puppet for, Kamala and his wife or whatever. Like he's Reagan. I don't know if you knew that, but Reagan. I think it was up until the 2000. I think in the 2000s they finally released this, that Reagan did suffer from dementia and Alzheimer's, and essentially his wife was, running the show there for a bit. And but with Biden in particular, and like, dude, I approve of the things he's done so far. Like, as a progressive, I think I describe myself as a left-wing progressive populist. I think that, of course, do I want more? Oh, absolutely. Like, the problem that I have with the CARES Act and the American Rescue Plan is essentially, this is just an adrenaline shot. This isn't structural change,
Right.
To where it's going to actually address the systemic issues that we've had, for the last 40 years, that have essentially undermined the working class and the middle class, and it definitely leaves more to be desired. But under a Republican Senate and Republican, House, and even, Trump, I don't think that, the American Rescue Plan would have been, what it is, even though that Donald Trump did want, $2,000 checks. I still think that he would have been battling a Republican, House and Senate to fight for those things. And whereas, with Biden, like, yeah, like I agree with, the American Rescue Plan. Like, it's nice seeing money in people's pockets. And I've said this before too, like, everything that they've told you and I and, the listeners that couldn't be done is now being done. That it just takes the political will. Like universal basic income, for example. Like, I learned about that in college. I didn't think in my lifetime that I would actually experience that. Whereas that's now the most popular legislative action, to date, the modern Congress, to where they've got $1,400 to spend, or $600 or $1,200, to where that money's not only being put in the pockets of Americans, it's going directly back into the economy.
Yeah.
And I think it pretty much lifts the veil of trickle down economics, that it's, that's been a failure, that, they've essentially just hoarded their wealth like dragons. And, I think I saw the figure, I think Bezos's wealth throughout the summer grew by like $50 billion. Like what does that even mean? Other than, like, I know what that means. He's added $50 billion to his net worth, but like, how did he actually earn that?
It's all Dogecoin. I bet that's what it is.
Do you invest in cryptos at all?
No, it just seems too silly. Yeah.
Man, hey, we were saying that, 5 years ago, and now you've got Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Chase Bank, all the big money, into it now. And I don't think I ever told you the story. I have a friend. And when he listens, you'll know I'm talking about him. The guy had a shit ton of Bitcoin back in 2011, and when I was in college, like after I'd get out of track practice, I'd hop on. It was TeamSpeak back in the day, but I think it's like Discord now. And he was like, "Will, you got to get Bitcoin. Like it's the future. It's where things are going." And I was like, "Buddy, I don't have time for this, man. I got to study and whatnot." And I wish I would have listened to him because son of a bitch, man. If like I think he had hundreds of Bitcoin at one point. I think he sold them when they hit like a couple $100 worth. But I don't think any of them saw that it'd be $60,000, US dollars to one Bitcoin
Yeah.
and whatnot. You've got millennial millionaires overnight.
Oh yeah.
Like do you think like we'll be in the I feel like the track we're going on is this weird dystopian, Blade Runner future that
Oh, 100%. Oh yeah. I
like I
mean,
look at Austin. I think Austin's a good example. You've got, a tech city and you've got, homeless, just sprawling throughout the city and whatnot to where like on the high rises it's really nice, but if you go under the bridge, that's not where you want to be, you know.
um, yeah. I mean, yeah. We're definitely looking at like a Blade Runner future. That's definitely on the horizon.
God damn. Oh, it's so depressing. I mean, and like
Yeah.
I mean, and that's something to tie into is that whether it was comedy or the arts or going out, they were a break, from this like harsh reality, that
hmm
living is suffering, and that's like I think now it's coming back. But how fast is it coming back? Is it fast enough? We're in Texas, when we lifted the mask mandates, dude, like God, God, do you have like there like in your social circles? Do you have any like anti-maskers and or whatnot?
No, no. I honestly, I've never really come across those people. I don't have any conservative friends. I mean, my last job, I worked with some fairly conservative people, but yeah, nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Man, imagine all the like I've seen it like time and time again, just retail workers and like baristas just getting fucking harassed. They're just literally like, hey, it's our company policy.
Dude, imagine if we still worked at New Balance.
Uh,
That would be a
I,
trip.
I would shotgun,
Oh yeah.
you know. But man, with like in the next, I feel like 2021 is not like the progress of 2020. Like there for a bit in 2020, I really would feel that I thought things were getting like horrible. That I had this like doomsday prepper like mindset there for a bit to where I'm a gun owner. And like I was like, I need another gun. Like, and back in April of last year, I went to go pick up a gun I bought, and it was pandemonium. Like I've never seen a gun store that busy. But man, there are people that clearly have never owned a firearm in their life that were there shopping with their family.
Oh, dude, I almost got a handgun.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I seriously, I went to Cabela's with one of my friends and we looked around, but there was really nothing there. No bullets. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's crazy. It's
yeah,
absolutely crazy. And
yeah.
I dude, I got like and to the listeners, I hope this doesn't freak you out, but I started like, oh my God, like how am I going to source ammo? And I'm going to have to start growing food, and the government's going to essentially be taken over. After January 6th, that's like
hmm
once like I was like, oh son of a bitch, here we go, like Civil War II, electric boogaloo, and
Yeah.
man, it's there's definitely like two parts to it. One, it's like in jest, it's like, oh, hey, people storming the Capitol. Like, how crazy is that? America. but but two, there's like to take the political, scientist analysis of it. There's something inherently wrong. The last people that stormed, did an insurgency on our capital was the British. 100 and God, nearly probably 200 years ago at this point, right?
Yeah, that was the War of 1812,
Yeah,
right?
1812. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the Redcoats were the last ones to invade the capital, and something is going very wrong. And I talked about this on another guy's podcast. Was Ashley Babbitt, the Air Force veteran that got shot and killed there in the Capitol. Man, believe it or not, she was an Obama voter.
Oh wow.
And how does someone go from an Obama voter to storming the Capitol, 12 years later, right? And
Maybe she just wanted to see the sights.
God, like, oh, let me climb through this window.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
And man, and God, Texans really did a horrible job of representing us. There was that real estate, the real.
Oh yeah, that real estate lady.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She's like, hey, could I go to Mexico on my vacation and whatnot? I don't know if the judge granted that, but like it's almost like, yeah, I stormed the Capitol, so what?
Yeah.
Where I think this kind of delves into something that I want to ask you about. Where does this like entitlement come from? Like it's like yeah, the government's supposed to, we're a representative democracy, but there's this entitlement that is almost inherent that we've both experienced, like whether it's working retail or also just seeing like Karens in general, like on the web. Like there's this level of entitlement that is this hierarchy that rises to like, yeah, I'm entitled to storm my capital.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, maybe I think as far as storming the Capitol, I think there was more like mob mentality, but yeah, I mean, they felt like they were allowed to do it. I don't know.
Did you see that ever happening in your lifetime?
No. Well, I was gonna do it first, but
we're on a fucking watch list now.
yeah, we're definitely yeah. Some black SUVs are gonna roll up.
I think I hear a knock at my door now.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. So, but no, it definitely is bothersome.
Oh yeah,
it really is like that are.
And I think it'll just get worse.
Do you think things like this year? I mean, hell, we had someone essentially. I know they killed a Capitol police officer the other day. They ran him over
ran him over. Yeah.
No,
shit like that. Yeah, I mean, it's just the people are just gonna get, I guess, for lack of a better, braver and braver when it comes to shit like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's wild. Never thought I'd see this.
No, it's honestly concerning. Like, because it's like it's like, well, yeah, I'm not going to go to a fucking movie theater now, not only because of COVID, but fuck, like somebody's going to come in and shoot me.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to go to a grocery store when I could just have them delivered because somebody's going to fucking come in and shoot me,
Yeah, or blow it up. Like,
yeah. and like this is coming from, I think I'm the most left person I know other than one other guy who's literally like he's a communist and whatnot. And
oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
sexy.
It's actually very fun talking to him because him and I have actual disagreements on like how economic structures should be laid out and how governmental structure should work and and actually critiquing capitalism, but like communism, like clearly when you give people pretty much consolidate power into these singular sources, I personally am of the belief that it just doesn't work. That if history has taught us anything, like on paper it's great, but the most successful countries, in my opinion, are those that have socialized the basics but still have market systems. Denmark, Sweden, Nordic countries. But it's
How do you become a communist? How I want to know that story.
man, for them, I can't speak because I'm not a commie or anything, but like I see the appeal to it. That essentially that the capitalist market system is disenfranchised so many, and it leaves so many behind, which it does. And it's essentially immoral. I think COVID is a great example of that. That
Yeah, that's true.
essentially, a capitalist system, a market-driven healthcare system that we have, because anyone that can convince me that it isn't just profit-driven, our healthcare system, I I think they're lying. Like, are there good doctors? Yes, but is our healthcare system, driven for maximizing profits?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's absurd. And so I think that's how they, that they experience, the 40, 50, $100,000 medical bill, or, their employer, exercises so much, power over them that, hey, do I actually as a worker have any power within my workplace? Well, when you ask that question, you come to find out in right to work states that you really don't have a whole lot of power in the workplace.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's those things. But like my biggest thing is like, hey, yeah, we should have unions, to back workers up, to protect them, because clearly what COVID showed us is that, hey, essential workers, these retail, these, baristas, the grocery store workers or janitors.
Heroes.
Yeah.
Heroes.
Yeah, the quote unquote heroes. We'll run a $15 million ad, to talk about how they're heroes, but we won't fucking pay them more, and
Oh yeah.
and I thought that was the funniest thing. I think Kroger, just to call them out, they ran, a bunch of ads, and then when the workers, I think when their city council in a certain, I don't know this, I don't remember the city, but they passed, hey, like, yeah, we're gonna pay our grocery store workers hazard pay because they're having to deal with the public, and it's only right, like on the merits. That is what we should do. We should pay frontline, essential heroes, whatever you want to call them, more to begin with. But if they're gonna be dealing with people, like we've got to pay them hazard pay. And Kroger said, oh well, we're just going to shut down the grocery store. And fuck that.
Yeah.
Like $15 million for an ad? Oh, easy. Pay people more?
Nah.
Yeah, no, get the fuck
Nah.
out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
750 is good enough for you. Get the fuck out.
Exactly. And man, I think people that haven't worked for a wage don't understand the hell that it actually is, to work an hourly wage.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's where that disconnect comes into play, is that there's a absolute divorce from what you think working, an hourly wage at a grocery store, at a pharmacy, at a, retail store is, versus what it actually is. It is absolutely hell,
Oh yeah, it's a nightmare. I'm surprised people can even, like, I'll walk into like a CVS and think, this person's probably getting what, $9. Like, how do you live? Like, where do you live? Like,
They're homeless.
yeah, they're homeless. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're laughing because it's a joke, but it's so ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, shit can be so ridiculous. You just gotta laugh.
No,
there's no other reaction you can have. Is just, this is insane.
Dude, I think I've had a few like surreal moments in the last year or so that I'm just like, what the fuck? This is like, I couldn't imagine when I was 6 years old. I would stare at myself in the mirror. I know this is weird, but I would, and maybe, but no, I would stare at myself in the mirror, and I would actually And I would think like, hey, what am I going to look like when I'm, 20 years old, when I'm 25, 30, and I can only imagine, how things are going to be and how they're going to be better. But in fact, have things gotten better since I was 6 years old? Yeah, I have a supercomputer in my pocket and I have access to information at any time I really want if I have said supercomputer in my pocket. Hell, I'm doing a podcast right now, that where, you're hundreds of miles away, to when in the 90s, I would have to have had, a radio station and been like, hey, thanks for coming on 99.5. And got John Van de Pol coming on. This ad is brought to you by Bengay. Or whatever a 90s medicine was.
Yeah.
And
Mars
but like,
bars.
yeah, oh my God. Mars bars, Jesus Christ. That's, man, show your age. I was on MySpace the first year, or like once it became available to the public. And like you tell people that and they're like, what the fuck, MySpace? Like the kids these days are on TikTok, and I'm just not on TikTok, man.
What was your song on MySpace?
Oh man, I was an emo kid. I was
Like Sum 41 kind of
dude.
shit.
Like Sum 41, My Chemical Romance,
Oh yeah.
A Day to Remember.
Oh.
Linkin Park. Linkin Park was typically my go-to. But 30 Seconds to Mars. What's the song?
Man.
Oh, the song that I can't.
I just came.
Oh
Yeah.
my God! Oh yes, and it's literally like that's you. Hell, I remember learning how to write HTML just to figure out how to like make my theme and and how crucial it was. Who were your top 8 or your top 10, and like how you would expand it, to like top 24 and whatnot. But I think MySpace is just a music page
Is it
now.
still a thing? Is it still a thing?
I think it's still a thing. I think it's still
Wow.
a thing, but it's not that I can't connect with I just don't see the utility in TikTok now, because now I'm
TikTok it is the most insane platform. I mean, you have it. You got two sides to it. You got the dummies doing the shitty dances that require zero talent, and then you got that dark side of TikTok where it's like literally mental patients or people that need to be in a mental facility doing just the most insane shit. Like Vine was cool. Vine actually required you to be clever, but TikTok is just, I think that's so indicative of our society. Is what people do on TikTok. It's just mindless pigs just doing just the craziest shit, just the dumbest shit.
Gonna get me negative subscribers now.
Yeah. Oh man, is that your demo? The
Yeah,
TikTokers?
my demographic is
Yeah.
19 to 21-year-olds that are like just.
Oh well, TikTok is great. I love TikTok. Y'all are brilliant.
Let's do a TikTok right now.
Oh, we should.
Oh
That'd be
my
so
God.
funny, man.
My
Dude,
God.
we should do a dance.
All right, man, I
We
can't
should-
dance. I've got bed back now, so like.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're
Yeah.
80 years old. I
Yeah,
forgot that.
exactly. Get the fuck out of here. But no, I think you're right on the money with that. That TikTok is so indicative of like how superficial, and shallow that we've become.
Yeah.
It's that. I think the movie Vice really did a great job of, display. I don't know if you've seen it. It's with.
Is it a Jamie Foxx film?
No, it's with Christian Bale. He plays. Oh, you're right. Jamie Foxx plays the other Miami Vice. You're thinking Miami.
Oh,
Vice.
I'm thinking of
Miami Vice.
Okay.
And Christian Bale plays Dick Cheney. And
Yeah.
there that opening sequence is just he's talking about how everybody just wants to fucking party and get drunk and numb themselves, while that's what the rich and powerful want them to do, so that they can essentially run the show. and whatnot. And perhaps like, can we turn things around? Can we change things? Get people, away from their phones and actually care about the substantial material well-being of themselves. And like a good example is right now, Republicans and moderate Democrats are essentially the infrastructure bill that Biden is proposing. That they're wanting to repeal the salt tax, state and local tax, and whatnot. And so, and it's like, hell, that generates a ton of revenue for cities and states in general that fund our social welfare programs. And it's weird, like, I don't understand like the demonization that people have, for those that need assistance. Like, there's nothing wrong with needing help, in my opinion. Like, and it's like with a few things. It's like, some Republicans and libertarians are like, yeah, we got to get people off, social welfare programs. Well, okay, well, let's raise the minimum wage to a living wage. Well, fuck, we can't do that. Like, well, then we can't get them off of, these welfare programs, right? And so, like, you can't have it both. Do you just want people to be like indentured servants, and like,
we should go back to that.
yeah,
I would like a servant.
it's literally like that libertarians are trying to undo essentially FDR's, New Deal regulations and policies and take us back even farther to feudalism, because that's essentially what they want.
That'd
And
be wild if we went back to feudalism. That'd be so funny. Just we
wow.
just keep on going back and
Yeah,
back and
like
back.
so just first, like this monarchical, like constitutional, system, then to monarchical feudalism, and
Mhm.
and just like, oh yeah, no, I'm a serf. Like,
I'm a
are you a serf? Because if you're not, we can't get married. And so
yeah.
Tinder for serfs, or Tinder for lords and whatnot.
It can be called surfer.
But wow, you're a
I
billionaire
think we
now.
we just came up with an app.
I'm gonna end this now. I've got to work on something, so just cut you out of it entirely.
Yeah.
Or Zuckerberg. And it's, man, it's definitely, man, I should have, before, I should have grabbed more beers. I grabbed a man, you gotta try this stuff, Liquid Death.
Oh, Liquid Death. I've heard of that.
Oh, buddy, you need it. It's
That's like the sponsor for like all the huge podcasts. Is Liquid Death.
yeah, they sent me merch, so.
Did they really?
Man, I've got a free case of this sparkling water and whatnot. So it's I've got the merch. But I'm not getting the money. And so
Is it any good? I've never
man,
had it.
it actually is. It actually is. And I'm being serious when I say this, not just because I'm a shill for them. It is literally like with Topo Chico. Not only are they, owned by Coca-Cola, the largest polluters of the planet, but their cans are infinitely recyclable. Wow, I'm just doing an ad for them right now.
Yeah. How much you getting paid? Do I get a cut?
I'll send you a case, buddy. And no, so it's actually good. Like Topo Chico is like, it has, it's found carcinogenic levels if you drink it over an extended period of time. It's bad for the environment, and honestly, it makes my eyes water. Like, it's too sharp, where this is like a happy medium and whatnot. I'm really hoping they come out with a hard seltzer, so just to compete with Topo and whatnot. But hey, I like it. It's definitely damn good and whatnot. When we do one of these in person, we'll crack them open and whatnot.
Oh, hell yeah. Give me some swag.
Oh, exactly. What size you wear? But no, man. To finish the thought, though, it's weird because, like, I do think things are going to get worse before they get better, and I think there are actual policies that we can do to dig ourselves out of this, this ditch. Yeah, but it's like we're all distracted. We're all
and no one's gonna do it. Let's be honest, no one's
man.
gonna do it.
That's what's crazy. Is it's almost like the system has bred apathy, you know,
Oh yeah. Oh
where
yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, I'll accept, my penance and whatnot, and hey, fuck it,
Yeah.
like, I'm a serf now, great, like,
Yeah.
hey,
Thank you.
do I get to keep my iPhone? Sweet. Thank you. But it's like, yeah, it's these little fiefdoms, like, the Georgia voter law, essentially
Oh,
them.
it's so that's so crazy that
I, I,
shit.
I don't like, man, I'm torn on voter ID and whatnot. I like the thing about voter fraud is that it's absolutely measurable. The Heritage Foundation, a right wing think tank, have done numerous studies on this to where you're more than likely to win the lottery and get struck by lightning than to actually like commit voter fraud. And
Yeah.
the amount of voter fraud that would be required, it's like flat earth, everybody would have to be in on it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that all the airline pilots and the topographers and cartographers, they would just all have to be in on it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
have you ever flown in a plane? Oh, well, they've got the craziest explanation for me was like, yeah, there's like a holographic system at the top of the planes that projects, a 3D holographic, you
I'm
know,
sold. I'm sold.
yeah, but I think what that is symptomatic of is that the material well-being of people has just gone so bad that they can't fathom that, hey, like, are politicians just being bought and essentially enacting policies that no one wants for the last 40 years. Like, no, there's no way, like, I have a voice in government, when in fact they don't know that they only have a 30% chance. Like, if there's a piece of legislation that a majority of people want, is that they have a 30% chance of it actually getting enacted and passed, right?
Yeah.
And I think they don't, it's like, oh no, like, I have a voice in government, but they don't know that in fact, like, it's not, it's depending on how much money you have, how much of a voice in government you have, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
that
No one really has to say. I mean, it's
it's such a
it's all run by Bill Gates and Jeff
well,
Bezos.
so that's the thing. It's like, you can make that argument that,
Mhm.
these billionaires and these elites, are essentially running the show, and it's definitely sad, man. It's definitely sad. Just seeing,
Yeah.
like people, buy into these conspiracy theories that whether it's flat Earth or fucking lizard people. I haven't heard that one in a long time. And
But yeah, I mean, I think shit's just got so bad that people just need something to believe in. Like Q, I think that was just a remedy for people who are just on the edge and they just need to believe something. Let's go storm the Capitol. That'll give me something to do, Like,
something to do on a Wednesday, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's a
I'm not,
car
I don't have,
cleaning.
yeah, I don't have a job. Let me go fucking break into the White House. Like,
And this is something that I thought of was during the rioting last summer, was that not only are people like actually paying attention because they're not enmeshed in their work, because work is almost a distraction, to where like they don't have time to pay attention to like wealth
yeah,
inequality or tax reform or minimum wage reform. Like they've got to work, whereas like, hey, we all got furloughed, back in, March, and nobody was fucking working. And
hmm
if you had to work, my heart goes out to them. But
yeah,
they're like, hey, like, what happened to George Floyd, that's horrible. Like, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna show people how horrible it was, and they're gonna, have their voice heard.
hmm
To where it was like almost a throwback to the 60s and 70s, that you had not only a pandemic, scale from Spanish flu 1917, you had Great Depression like unemployment, and then you had the civil rights movement of the 60s and 70s, all into one, And
Then like I had Vietnam on top of that as well.
yeah, exactly. And it's it's crazy. I
Hmm.
wanted to go and protest with with fellow protesters, but man, like I was honestly scared of COVID. I was like, fuck, like guys, there's no way that we should probably be gathering in crowds.
I agree. I do kind of feel like, should we all be doing this? Even though
Yeah,
this sentiment is fantastic, but I mean, I thought about going out to like some of these like women's protests
yeah.
in like the Austin Capitol. But yeah, I was like a little
Did
bit
you
on the nose.
did you get vaccinated?
No,
You get vaccinated, buddy.
I don't know. It's just
Oh, are you one of those anti-vaxxers?
no, I'm not an anti. No, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. You can get me canceled.
Exactly. Canceled.
um, I don't know. I feel like it's still too soon. Kind of a little
Really?
bit on the fence about it.
Okay, okay. I think that's fair. I think the thing behind the vaccine hesitation, I think there's a large statistic of people that are hesitant of the vaccine, and something they don't know is that mRNA vaccination technology has been in the works since like late '80s, early '90s.
Hmm.
And so it's not something that we just like cooked up, in the back of a shed, and like, hey, here you go. This is something that has been tried and tested.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it is the best shot of getting, no pun intended, but best shot of getting back to somewhat, to resemble pre-COVID times, to where
Hmm.
we could go to movie theaters, we could go to comedy clubs, we could go see our friends and family, and like, not feel uncomfortable. And it's, I have plenty of friends and family that are have adopted this anti-vaccination ideology of like, oh well, we're going to achieve herd immunity one way or another. Well, the fastest way we could achieve herd immunity is through people getting vaccinated. That you cannot achieve the highest levels of herd immunity without getting vaccinated. And
Yeah, I'll probably end up getting it at some point. Does it cost something? How much
no,
does it?
it's free. It's free, man. I mean, we
Oh,
subsidized it, so taxpayers paid for it. So like we paid for it, but it's free at point of sale. So I mean,
oh shit. Where do you get it done?
I think you gotta look up on the DSHS website. In Austin, like I went to Communicare there in Kyle, to get it, but I think there's local clinics and whatnot, and there's the like vaccine super centers, But I just want there to be like some normalcy to return because like with COVID, like we're focused on COVID, and it's still like yes, we should still be worried about it. I'm not saying that we're out of the woods. I think in the United States by August, September, October, like the fall and winter, is that essentially I think we'll start seeing some sense of normalcy, and then by March of next year, you won't see as many like
Hmm.
stipulations when going into businesses and whatnot.
Yeah.
You know,
What do you miss most doing?
Man, honestly, like you, going out to a movie theater. But up until recently, I hadn't seen my family in a really long time. Like after
Oh.
literally after I finish editing and the recording with you, man, I'm gonna go see have a my first barbecue. Back with the family, as a
Ooh.
non-practicing Catholic, I get invited to the Easter barbecue still. So, you know, and it's I miss that. I really do. I miss like seeing friends and family. I miss seeing people, and like, and, hey, inviting people to the home studio and having them sit across the table for me to where, like we can have like, not that like this is, bad, but I definitely think, you and I would be more,
I mean, that's the yeah.
like back in the day when I started, doing it at my kitchen table. Now, I've got a room, dedicated
Hmm.
podcast studio, quote unquote. And it's, I miss that. I miss like, I was a people watcher to an extent. Like I loved seeing people like interact with each other. And back, this time last year, dude, the streets were empty. You literally had deer and wildlife re-encroaching back into the city because they're, like, hey, like, where'd all the cars
Oh yeah, yeah. Covey Wovey was the best thing to happen to animals.
No, no, it's the funniest thing. The CO2 emissions that essentially, that got offset by people, by not going to work and not going out. Like, we saw a break for the environment. But I think, that's going to be the next big, event is like we're going to start seeing, climate refugees and, and the next 10, 20 years, to jump on that real quick, man. How'd you do with the freeze, the winter storm?
I got real lucky. I still had power, still had water. Yeah, it was actually fine for me. And I love cold weather as well, so it was really nothing. Yeah.
Fuck you. Man, negative 15-degree weather for me. I'm a little guy, man. I don't got that much. Man, I did put on the quarantine 15 and whatnot. I was doing physical therapy last week, and they were taping my back. And Haley, if you hear this, I was like embarrassed, like fuck, she's gonna see my love handles and whatnot. And I got these love handles going and whatnot. So
Oh, same here. I'm still working on them.
hey, bud. Hey, the biggest pain in the ass for me was finding home gym equipment last year, and dude, I overpaid. I like a pair of dumbbells that would have cost me like, these adjustable dumbbell sets that would have cost me like $200. I paid $800 for.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not proud of it, but man, I needed to work out. And
Not that bad.
I know, and I think Vox or Vice wrote a really good article on pretty much these surge in pricing and just these scavenger pricing of home gym equipment. And yeah, man, I started working out from home, and but yeah, during the winter storm though, man, it was like living in a third world country. And
Oh, yeah, definitely. It definitely felt like that.
oh yeah,
100%.
man, I've wrote this article that I have yet to post. I need to post it, but it's called Goldfish, and it's essentially like, hey, we had a horrible, like climate event happen, and fuck our politicians and city leaders and state leaders, ERCOT, FERC, they all failed us, right? And you had millions of people without power, millions of people without
Yeah.
power and without water, and people died, whether it was through hypothermia or carbon monoxide poisoning. Man, my power went out Sunday night. I fell asleep with power on Sunday. I woke up on Monday without power. Power didn't come back on until Thursday afternoon. And dude, I read a book a long time ago. It was fuck, go figure. I try to quote a book. Lights Out. Lights Out is one of the books, and then 1 second after. 1 second after. It's a really good novel. It's essentially like what if the United States got hit by a high altitude EMP, and man, it started making me think back to that because hey, 72 hours without the lights on, dude, I was gonna have to start salting meat. Like,
Yeah.
and like digging a root cellar in the backyard and
Hmm.
and whatnot, and man, it started making me think like, fuck, like, am I able to actually survive without electricity? And honestly, like, I think modern comforts have softened us so much
Oh, yeah.
that yeah, man, like, dude,
I
like,
wouldn't last. Yeah, dude. If I were like thrown out in the wild, I would last maybe an hour. Like, I have no survival skills or anything like that. I mean, even like
tell a
Eric
bear a
Adams.
joke.
Yeah, I'll do stand up for some deer.
Fucking Walking Dead and whatnot, bartering jokes.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man. No, I'm right there with you. Like, I thought my survival skills were like, kind of sharp, but no, it kind of showed me like, hey, I need to, not that I'm like this doomsday prepper now or anything, but fuck, man, like, I don't ever want to be in that position again to where, I'm not able to take care of myself or my loved ones. And, just how reliant we are on our creature comforts. It's definitely like it's definitely concerning like that, and whether it's a climate event or an EMP or anything like that, that hey, we could get taken back to 1850 and
Oh, so easily, so easily.
fucking hey, back to feudalism, baby. Yeah.
Back to feudalism.
Yeah,
This is where we're headed.
yeah, exactly.
I can't wait to be a serf.
Yeah, like I can't wait to just be a serf, and my kid could be
Yeah.
a serf, and his kid could be a serf, and there we go. Like it's just a caste system, and
Yeah.
I think I would like to be a iron worker more than anything. Not a
That's a
farmer.
good one.
Yeah, that's the farmer ones you get sick. And if weather permits, you might not have a good crop and whatnot. So
Yeah, I might get into prostitution. I think that.
and that's the oldest workplace.
I'm keeping it traditional.
Hey, exactly. Hey, if we're gonna be feudal, we're gonna be serfs. Hey, equal opportunity, baby. Equal opportunity.
Exactly. I'll take some cum in the hair.
Oh my god! Oh my god! And a buddy of mine, he sent me a meme. I think I got a picture of it. It's fuck. I'll probably get canceled for that. I don't even know if I could say it. It's not like horrible, but I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Okay. Okay.
You know, but I could not imagine having a child right now. In the near future and whatnot. And a lot of my contemporaries, our contemporaries, are having kids now. I'm just like, dude, how the fuck are you doing it? Like,
Oh, dude, all my friends are fucking having kids. I think it's almost irresponsible to have a kid at this juncture.
yeah.
It's like,
Like,
what
is that
world are
just
you?
like climate change or like the economy or like what's why do you say that?
Yeah, I mean, just all of it. I mean, COVID, climate change, and just a weird time in society. Like, I would never want to bring a kid into this world right now. Like, maybe if it slows down, calms down, but at this point, not that I could, because I'm not with anyone, so that's not an option.
That ladies, you hear that? And no, I'll be sure to get your socials and everything just so that we can see where people can follow you and whatnot here at the end of this. Man, no, I'm with you right there. Current significant other and I, we've been together now 3 years, and like now it's like parents and I are like this is not the crazy one I was with when we were working together and whatnot.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, my parents are like, hey, like we're getting old and you're getting old and like kids, grandkids, we want them, and I just like, man, told this to people when I was like 18. I'm gonna have my first Ferrari by the time I have a kid, and now I'm settling for like a fucking Yukon, I guess. And
A
it's
1992 Camry.
there we go. Those fuckers will run forever.
Yeah.
And man, I had a not that Mustang I had, but I bought a Mustang back in 2017, and dude, I sold that piece of shit. Fucking like, dude, it made me such a narcissist, and I love that car. It was beautiful, but it made me such a narcissist to where like I imagine like in every conversation, like, oh yeah, you see that Mustang? Hey, that's mine. Like like, hey, $40,000 car. Like,
Yeah.
like my Ferrari, so to say. But yeah, like I mean, the cost of living has just risen so much to where it's like, fuck, I still got some student loans that I'm paying on, and it's like, so even how can I do this balancing act of every cost that is associated with a child. I mean, do you like, other than COVID, or I should structure this question, before COVID, did you see yourself like wanting to have kids?
Well, no, I've never wanted kids.
Really?
Oh no,
Oh man,
never.
you're a special baby.
I do not like kids, and I would. Yeah, it's. I mean, I just I just don't want the responsibility, and maybe that'll change. But it's like why I don't have a dog. Like I love dogs, but I don't want the responsibility. Maybe it's because I'm just naturally a pretty lazy person.
No, no, you're
But
beautiful. You're beautiful and motivating. You're doing stand up and shit. We gotta get you back on the stage, man.
oh no, we do. I definitely miss it. But it was also like I got it was just long nights. It was like it was a second job pretty much. They get paid for it.
Hey, and that's okay, man. That's okay.
Yeah, it was just I do miss it, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I don't miss those long nights in a bar
Yeah.
waiting to talk to drunk people who
Oh, oh,
are seconds away from passing out at their table. Like,
oh, fucking, like they're just sitting there, just
yeah, I mean, on a Thursday night, those are weird crowds.
man. I love hearing comedians talk about their early days and whatnot because that's like you got the weirdest crowd, you got the toughest crowd, like there at the beginning and whatnot.
Yeah, you got a crowd of mostly other comedians who are on the list, and then you just got the weirdos out on a Tuesday getting hammered on vodka sodas. So it's like,
God, fucking cheap ass motherfuckers and whatnot.
yeah,
Man, I went to my first bar a few weeks ago because I'm vaccinated. I'm not a fucking anti-vaxxer like you, and and as soon as I was eligible, I was like, oh fuck yeah, fucking, stab me in the arm, and
yeah,
and I will say this, I've said this a few times on the show, is that I did have a bad reaction to the second shot. Like I honestly did. I got the shot at 9 o'clock in the morning. 12 hours later, 9 o'clock at night, I started feeling off, and then 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up with a 101-degree fever, 101, 102.
well, it's probably because of the chip they put in you.
Yeah, I got the 5G installed. Those just updated, and fucking, and man, dude, that was rough. It was a rough like 2 hours, like from 2 to 4. I literally was so cold, but I was burning up that I had to get in the shower. And I just needed something to like, equalize. And I probably made my fever fucking worse than anything. Just baking myself alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was so weird too when I first went to get the shot because I was the only person that didn't see Jimmy Carter as president, and there in line, and it was like it was getting those eyeballs like, fuck is this fucking kid doing here?
Mm-hmm.
He stole a line shot. I'm sorry, I've got fucking asthma. My bad, and whatnot. And so I mean, I think the more people that get vaccinated, the better. And
Yeah, definitely.
I just like at this point when you're talking to people about I whether it's COVID, whether it's Trump or just fucking politics, it's just like. They've dug their heels in so much, and there's no room for like open-mindedness. And if you critique one of those things, like with COVID, it's like settled. It's like, what the fuck are you saying? Like 500 something thousand people haven't died? Fuck, experts are pointing to that more people have died. That we're not counting people that died at home, that never went to a hospital, right? And are you just calling them fake actors? And that's concerning within itself. And with Trump, it's like they adopted him as a part of their identity. That there's a difference between a Trump supporter and a Biden voter. And fuck, I wrote Bernie in, man. I wrote Bernie in, and like I was like, fuck, like no, neither of these assholes have earned my vote. Like, and I really view it as like, hey, you gotta earn my vote. Like what have you done, to actually earn my vote? And with Biden, I'm right there with you. I don't think the fucker's gonna make it. And just seeing him talk the other day and fucking him, bust his ass on the stairs, and You know, that I was like,
I thought that guy was gonna roll back and
oh,
just like split his head open. I mean, that was a bad fall.
and, and it was like, it's like fucking a man. Like at the very least, like I'm not a Biden defender by any stretch of the imagination, but fuck, I was like, damn, you're really making this hard. You're really making,
Yeah.
you know, and it's definitely like with Trump. I mean, dude, the fucker's old too, but I have never seen someone so old with so much fucking energy. And
Mhm.
like, I don't know what he's doing, if he's snorting Sudafed or if he's bumping lines there in the Oval Office and whatnot. But Jesus Christ, man,
Oh, they gotta have some good coke in the White House.
fucking fucking God, and you know, I just want people to have some sense of normalcy and in their lives. Like they've been disenfranchised in so many ways, and COVID was just like the fucking cherry on top, the big fuck you, to them. That oh, like, was I going to lose my job before COVID? Probably not. And then they did. And there's a book that I think I've told you to read if you haven't, but it's called Bullshit Jobs by David Graeber. And if you definitely should add that to your reading list, man. And it talks about how people are just not engaged in their workplace. That literally there are categories of jobs that are just bullshit. That they're just a placeholder. That literally their job could be automated, or their job's just like not even it has no utility. I think there's a good example in the book that talks about there's a man in Spain that literally just stopped going to work, and no one noticed. Like, and he went and got his master's degree, then he got his doctorates, and he became a expert in a Jewish philosopher and whatnot. And finally, they were like, okay, where the fuck is this guy at? And he's over here getting his doctorates and whatnot.
Man, what job is this? I want
Oh my!
this job.
I think he worked at a water treatment plant or some.
Oh, hell, oh, that's the move.
Yeah, exactly. And it's that we've measured country success in terms of GDP, but I think Andrew Yang, Democrat candidate, was onto something. I think he's running for mayor right now. But we shouldn't measure in GDP, but GHP, global, happiness and whatnot, and product. How happy are people? Because I think if you ask the majority of people, like, are they happy doing what they do day in and day out? They're not.
No, no, definitely not.
No,
I
what
mean, that's
people?
why that's why I get paid.
Yeah, yeah. And like if you could, like, would comedy be what you would do for the rest of your life, or is there something?
Oh, 100%. In a perfect world, I would take my ass out to LA and do stand up for the rest of my life.
Be one.
Or well, everyone's coming to Austin now, so LA is kind of
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Austin's literally turned into like San Fran, LA, and
yeah, it really has. I mean, I'm not sure how much you follow comedy, but I mean, all the big comedians are coming out to Austin. Like Joe Rogan is out here.
yep.
He's building a comedy club. It's just a stream of these incredible comedians. So, but yeah, no, yeah, 100%. Like I enjoy what I tolerate my job.
All right, man. I was gonna tell you this. Once you get vaccinated, now that you're not vaccinated, once you get vaccinated, we need to go to a comedy club. Like
Oh yeah.
I know you know good comedians and whatnot, and I've only been to like one in San Antonio. I've never like seen like a
Oh, is it the
professional.
LOL?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. This was like back in 2017, and
Hmm.
so well, like that. This seems like yesterday, but fuck, man, it was 4 years ago now at this point, and so it's like fucking, time is just like, it's just like one day after another into another, to where it's like it's just flashing before our eyes and whatnot. High school, college, and then next thing you know, you're fucking, getting married, and then you're doing a podcast, and and then you're a stand-up comedian, and man, yeah, we're gonna have to go to a comedy club.
Dude, I would love nothing more than to go to a comedy show with you. That would be fucking amazing.
Man, what was the last comedy show you went and saw in person?
Oh, it was last week.
Oh shit. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Very cool. Lucky guy.
the Paramount, they're doing comedy again.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and Cap City's opening it up again at the Domain and their new location. But yeah, I mean, I can't even begin to describe how good it is to go see comedy again.
No. No, I can only imagine. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the podcasters I did a show with yesterday, she she was in theater, and that was like her life, her love, and instead it's closed down now. And I think in certain states that do I agree with like the lifting of the mask mandate? No. Like I don't. I think that the mask mandate should have stayed. The state mask mandate should have stayed in place. If the goal is to ensure that COVID-19 does not propagate, then we should do everything in our power until we're at 80. I think it's like 85%. Vaccinated to achieve herd immunity. I think that's the number we should have waited on. But I think Abbott was in the wrong to lift that, because that's only burdened, small businesses and these frontline workers to, fend for themselves. Like that guy last year that fucking got stabbed to death there at a Dollar General, for telling, lady, put her, hey, you got to have a mask on and whatnot. And, it's just insane. It's like COVID is, made, it is shown more of the worst of us, and it has shown more of the better in us, and it's shown how selfish, a lot of people are. And but to finish that point, I think that seeing as people are getting vaccinated now, and that we can safely do some activities like let's open up comedy clubs. Doesn't mean you got to jam pack them with 500 people into a venue, but we should definitely be encouraging our small businesses to and the arts to open back up and whatnot, and we could do it safely. And it's not that the scientists aren't saying that; they're actually saying the opposite. That hey, there's actual ways we can mitigate that, and whether it's mask
Yeah.
wearing, social distancing. I think that's smart. Yeah, I saw Joe Rogan move to Austin, and
Hmm.
I was like, oh man, one of these days I'll get on a show. One of these, I fucking hope, but.
That would be dude. That would be so cool if that happened at some point.
God, man, he's the Howard Stern of our generation now. You
Yeah, he
know,
really is.
and
Although his podcast can be a little too long.
hey,
Like,
man, yeah, I mean, fuck, what are we at now? Like fucking an hour and 40 minutes and whatnot. So
that's true. Yeah, we're
yeah,
we're,
dude.
we're doing Joe Rogan level
Yeah,
shit right now.
exactly. And I always enjoy talking to you, bud.
Oh,
And,
same here, man. Same here,
so,
dude.
but I think like I agree there for a bit with Joe, man. I had to stop listening to him because he became so like anti like COVID, anti mask, like just like what you think like just vitamin D alone is gonna save people and whatnot. And if the science comes out and shows that, fuck yeah, I'll believe it. But man, like are we fucking epidemiologists and virologists? No, we're not. And like we
Well,
should.
I am a
Yeah,
doctor, so
exactly.
I know all about it. I've studied the human body for a long time. So,
Exactly. What am I? Exactly. Yeah. It's so. I found it problematic when he just started like there's a fuck I forget the doctor's name, the epidemiologist from Baylor that he would always have on. I have one of his books, Blue Marble Health. The guy, he hasn't had him back on, because he like Joe became like almost like anti-mask, anti-vax, and I don't think anti-vax, more anti-mask and like social distancing and whatnot. Because I think
yeah.
like he had a vested interest in making sure that people were returning back to work and whatnot, and
Hmm.
going out to comedy clubs and whatever the case may be. But when you have that powerful of a voice, I mean, I think you'd want to like get things right, be on the safer side instead of fucking just like saying the earth is flat, essentially.
Oh, I totally agree. His tone, and I don't listen to him really anymore. But it's that real like meathead mentality. Oh, I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna wear a mask. And yeah,
No,
but
I agree. I agree. Like there's a selfishness. I can't even fucking say that word. That people have shown in the last year. I don't think I said that earlier, but it's like it's brought out the worst in us, and that's why I think things are almost going to get worse before they get better, because it's crazy, man. I've seen like people that I enjoy talking to where I just can't even talk to them anymore.
Yeah.
Whether like they were on this like track, like with Trump, and then with the system is like rigged. Like, yes, it's rigged, but like you're voting against your own interests, and then oh, like voting's rigged and whatnot, and these illegals are taking our jobs, and essentially where they have all these grievances, but they don't actually have the right answer. Their answer is in fact like in the opposite of what would actually fix the situation. Um, and like, man, I just can't even have like a conversation with them anymore because they're not even open to changing their mind.
Yeah.
And man, you're a lucky bastard. You don't have any fucking friends or nut jobs now and whatnot. So hey, that just shows your character.
I guess. Yeah. I guess you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. And I did a survey back in October, August, October of last year, where I was asking people like, hey, like what's top 5 issues on the ballot for you? Are you comfortable talking about the presidential candidate you support, etc. And their answers were definitely surprising. And I think what I learned from that is that people just want to talk. Like they actually don't feel like they're being listened to, right now more than anything.
Oh yeah.
Maybe everybody should just have a podcast.
Everyone should have a podcast.
Yeah, it's democratized radio. Oh, God, oh, man, hey, we got Alex Jones. So oh God, I can only imagine. Some of the shit everyone's crazy uncles would start saying.
Oh yeah. Alex Jones. He's out here in Austin.
Dude, exactly. He was out there during the protests and whatnot.
Oh yeah, it's like driving a tank around. Like, yeah.
I have no idea, man. I try to like just like stay in my lane for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Not piss anyone off. But it's definitely like
well, this podcast might do it, or this episode.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna I'm gonna have the FBI come and knock because of you. They're gonna confiscate all of my Bitcoin, and I'm gonna be a serf and
Yeah.
whatnot. So I mean, if all right, if you had one wish right now, what would it be?
To be a TikToker.
Oh my God. We're ending this. Get the fuck out. Like, in your estimation, if you had a wish that would make shit better, like how, like,
hey, those TikTok trolls, those idiots, they make a lot of money doing that shit.
Oh my God, dude! I had a friend of mine. She in one of her classes, she got a YouTube prankster go in and like ruin a test.
Oh, actually, no, I want to be a YouTuber. That's what I want to be.
Oh my God, get the fuck out! You're never coming back on the show.
I want to be the next Jake Paul.
Oh my God, he literally came from Vine.
Yeah.
God. Hey everybody, this was the Undone Podcast. Fucking A, man. But no, like in all honesty, if you could like make a wish, like whether it's to better your own life or what, like do you have anything in mind?
Oh yeah, to be a professional, successful stand-up comedian.
Okay.
Like that's all I want in life, is just to do that for an income. Sitting in an office is fine, but yeah,
Oh yeah,
to do that.
you're in office now, man. Look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you moving on up and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
daddy's got his own place.
exactly. And now they can't see this. They can't see this.
They get
Yeah, they like, uh, hey, John, HR wants to talk to you at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, whatnot. So, uh, but
Go
no,
upstairs
man.
for a second.
Oh my God, man. I don't necessarily have a wish. I just if I did have a wish,
Well, would you want this podcast to be huge?
oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we started to build up finally a listener base and whatnot. So I just got to commit
Ooh.
and do it more and whatnot. I think we're recording like 2-3 episodes a week, whether it's mine or other people's podcasts and whatnot. So it's
Oh
gotten
yeah.
fun. It's gotten fun, you know. But yeah, no, I enjoy talking to people, actually having substantial conversations and whatnot,
Yeah.
and not being a TikToker and like and not knocking that. Like I mean, if that's what makes their money, hey, more power to them. Like they've found a niche in the market that to where they are able to show their talents, and hey, that's what like do I find value in it? No, but clearly other people do. And do I think it's good or bad? I'll leave no comment. And then it's but absolutely, absolutely. I'd want this to have the real like philosophical thinkers like my one right now that I'm reading um, is Dr. Richard Wolff or Professor Richard Wolff and whatnot. And even though he's not like the guy's a Marxist and whatnot, but I think he's got some really good points. And
You should get Jordan Peterson on the show.
oh my God, man! I wonder if he would come on. I wonder if I would have to pay him. If I'd have to pay him. If I you know
And Candace Owens. Gotta get Candace Owens.
oh my God, man! I think her and I would just like when people start denying like systemic racism, I'm like, wait, what do you mean? Like, if a black man and a white man who literally consume marijuana at the same rates, and they are charged, black man is charged with a more severe punishment or a more severe
Yeah. Yeah.
felony or crime, whereas the white person is not, and like that's clearly like systemic racism. And to deny that the African American experience or the black experience in the United States is different than other races and ethnicities, just in general, like I mean, just to point one out, versus a Caucasian experience would be absurd, be absolutely absurd. And I'm not saying that that there aren't other hurdles. Economic hurdles would be a good one to working class and middle class white people, but like there's clearly a bar that is set nearly so high that just doesn't allow you know certain races that have been kept out of the economic system that we've had in place and whatnot. And it's I really have trouble like getting that point across to people because something when I have these conversations is that they'll pull strawmen out, they'll pull out the social justice warrior pink hair and whatnot, and now they scream racism at everything, which I think is a problem. I do think that's a problem, but like to actually talk about the societal systems in place that have kept people out of participating at the same level, like hey, that's not for discussion. That's literally American history. And
Yeah.
it's I call it the monopoly paradox. Like, yeah, are the current rules in place like not racist? Oh, for sure. But like, imagine a game of Monopoly that's been played for 150 years, and someone just joined the game. Like they've got Park Place and and they've got all the rental properties and whatnot. And there's no way that you're going to be able to amass any sort of economic advantage. And so it's yeah, I don't think I could have Candace Owens on the show. I mean, maybe. I mean, if she doesn't want like $5,000 for me to pay her to come on the show for an hour or whatnot. I imagine they charge absurd rates and whatnot. So there's no telling.
Who would be your dream guest?
Oh man, there's too many of them. I want to talk to everyone. I really do. Like yes, like would I disagree with Candace Owens on the on real issues? Of course, I would want to talk to her though. Would I like Richard Spencer's and the Ku Klux Klan guys? No, fuck no. They could literally burn in hell. But like hell, Jordan Peterson, even though I disagree with him, for sure. Ben Shapiro, another one. Hell, I would love to have Bernie Sanders on and talk to him. But ultimately, like I think the voices that matter are the ones that aren't heard. Like, cause like I was saying earlier, I think the people that don't have an opportunity to sit and talk, that they're so mired in their work. They're mired in doing the 9 to 5 and clocking in and clocking out. Being wage slaves. That they have a lot to talk about. And if I could have everyone on, great. But it's almost like that question. Hey, you had a dinner party and you could invite anyone throughout time. Who would you have? And man, there's just too many for me on my list and whatnot. And it's like crap. I don't think there's enough time to like. There's literally not enough time. I think to talk to everyone I would want to talk.
Mm.
Yeah, no. Let me ask you: if you had a dinner party and you can invite 5 people to it, who would come?
It would be Dick Cheney, Megyn Kelly.
Fuck God for that. Fucking aneurysm. People that literally like been architects of like how we go through this bullshit right now.
I'll tell you who I would love to have at a dinner party. These are comedians. It
Okay.
would be Tim Dillon,
Okay.
Brendan Schaub.
Oh, fucking Brendan. Good God. Fucking, you want to talk about meatheads? There you go, man.
Yeah. Whitney Cummings, Annie Letterman, and Bobby Lee.
Okay. Bobby Lee is an interesting one. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
What would be the first question you would start out for all of them?
Ooh. Good question. I'll get back to you on that in a
Okay.
week.
Okay. I'm gonna hold you to that, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, we're at 2 hours now.
Oh hell yeah.
We're at 2 hours. I think we did about 2 hours last time, but man, you're gonna have to come back on. You're gonna have
Absolutely. This is so much fun. It's amazing what you're doing. That the studio looks great.
you're making
I
me
mean,
proud.
I'm glad you're still doing it. I mean,
Like you like the Van Gogh?
I do like that. That's fire,
I'm
man.
gonna have to throw New Balance on there instead of Vans. And whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, man, I really appreciate that. You're always we're gonna have to stay in touch more and whatnot, and it's always fun just listening to your perspective. I think that your perspective is always interesting. And,
I appreciate it.
And I think that I think you said something that I think people experience a lot is that their friends, like they lose touch with their friends, and it's like we just get mired in like our own like our own little track, and focusing on the end goal instead of the journey that that comes along with it. And I think this is almost like a recent phenomenon of like this hustle and grind culture. Like I don't think that's healthy. I really don't. Like the grind never stops. Like if people just had the basics taken care of, like yeah, they wouldn't have to fucking worry about where's their next meal going to come from, or how are they going to pay their utility bill, and hey, like are they going to be able to is it rent or is it food, like one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think that we get so mired up in that we forget about friends and family. So apologies, my friend. And
I mean, same here. I'm glad we reconnected. I really do hate losing friends.
no, for sure. You always have a friend with me. Is this where we kiss? Oh, there we go. There we go. That's going on. This is going on YouTube too, man.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, buddy. Man, hey, where can the people find you and connect with you?
I don't have any public accounts.
Oh, buddy.
I know, I don't. But maybe next time.
Okay, okay. You're gonna have to.
I'll start some things and post videos and
Okay,
whatnot.
okay. You're gonna
But
have to do some awkward like stand up sessions in front of no one and just like cricket.
yeah,
It's just like
slam that subscribe button.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Oh shit, man. Yeah, let's wrap her on up. Everybody, hey, this is John Van de Pol. Thanks for listening. Oh,
I love you, man.
of course.